They offer up so much criticism and judgment that they've left no room for the living word of God. Like they never present anything that is life-changing information because all they do is offer up criticism and judgment. And of course, they're not going to see it that way, but it irritates me and it makes me angry. Yesterday, I was so angry that I literally could have flipped tables or maybe even more. And today I found myself getting that way and I finally just cut the phone off and I disconnected for a while because there were several pastors and several church leaders. And I don't think this is the majority, but there are some, and they take to social media to do nothing but offer up criticism and hate toward other church leaders, toward Christian singers, toward worship leaders, toward worship teams. And then I look at their page and all of their content is almost 100% criticism. And it makes me think, what is it that you believe? I mean, have you really been changed yourself? Or are you just standing up on your soapbox barking at everything that doesn't look like you and doesn't think like you or doesn't talk like you? You know, because you may be wrong. I mean, there's that possibility. And I realize that there are times when I may be wrong. But when I look at that and I see that you offer up nothing but criticism and judgment, then I wonder about those things. And then I'm like, is this really going to change lives? Is this really going to help somebody who's in a state of depression? Is this really going to help somebody who's suffering from anxiety? Is this really going to help the drug addict? Is this really going to help the alcoholic? For me to stand up and tell you everything that's wrong with somebody in the Christian community? Or is it possible that the living word of God might actually meet somebody in the midst of their dark time and it could change lives? You see, and if you look back at this page, you're going to see that that is the vast majority of what happens. You know, and I don't really care about views. I don't care about likes. I don't care about any of those things. I am only here to satisfy my Creator, and that's it. And I want to walk in the calling that He has for me. But it makes me really think a lot about how Jesus did this. I mean, how did Jesus handle these things? I mean, of all people, we should look to Him, right? And so if you look at Mark chapter 1, verse 16, it says, "And Jesus walked beside the Sea of Galilee. He saw Simon and his brother Andrew casting a net into the lake, for they were fishermen. And he said this, 'Come follow me.'" He didn't say, "Come and hear me debate the masses." He didn't say, "Come and hear my criticism of the church community." Now, did Jesus call the Pharisees to the carpet? Absolutely. But you know what? They went on to follow Him, and they would have seen healings and miracles. They would have slept where Jesus slept. They would have eaten what Jesus ate. They would have heard Him. They would have known what He believed. And it goes on and it says that when He had gone a little farther, he saw James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John in a boat preparing their nets. Without delay, He called them also. And they left their father Zebedee in the boat with the hired men and followed Him. You see, Jesus never said, "Let me tell you about all the things that are wrong. Let me tell you about all the criticisms I have for everybody else." Jesus said, "Come and follow me." You know what is weak? To stand up on your soapbox and proclaim what's wrong with everybody else. You know what's strong? You know what's bold? Is to look at somebody and say, "Come follow me." That's bold. You know why? Because now they're going to get to see firsthand whether you are actually living what it is that you're criticizing everybody else about. They're actually going to see whether you're living according to what the Word of God says. And our goal in life should be to live it first and then preach it next. And so before I reach out to criticize somebody, I should make sure that I am doing my best to live according to this Word. And so I feel like that it would be a little safer and a lot more life transforming if we looked at people and said, "Come and follow me." Now, I'm not saying follow me. I'm saying follow the one that I'm following, because that's who I'm going to point you toward. But if I do nothing but criticize everybody in the Christian community, well, then I don't know exactly who I'm telling them to follow. I mean, and this same group will say, "Preach the gospel and be bold." And I'm like, be bold then and encourage people to follow Jesus, because it's not your criticism that's going to change their life. It's going to be the love, the grace, and the mercy of the one that this book is about. Love you guys.